So this guy goes to Gambling Anonymous, and the host is like, "Am I gonna see you next time?" And he goes, "You bet." And he said, "Where?"
So dumb. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the vlog. We got a fun, action-packed one for you today. Went up to New Hampshire where the games are good. Didn't take ourselves too seriously, but you'll have to wait to the end of the episode to figure out if that was monetarily beneficial to my game or if it was a huge hindrance on me continuing to make money. All right, it's the first vlog since the lodge. And we're pulling a session today, and we're hopefully going to keep the win streak going. I don't want that session at the lodge to be a fluke, so I have to show that I know what I'm doing and that I can be a winning player. So today, I actually have 3 friends coming, and we're going to load up the Tahoe, and hopefully all 3 of us will be getting back in the Tahoe at the end of the night with more money than we showed up with, because it's no fun being the only winner, and then you get 3 miserable friends in the back seat. All right, let's make a side bet. Who's going to be the whiniest on the ride home?
Shut up. I will be.
All right.
I can do that. I'm done whining.
You want to all be winners. But if there was going to be one winner, I really hope it's me. So let's look at the lineup. We got me, obviously the greatest player around, one of the elite. You have Dookie Betts, who turns sand into gold most of the time. JQ Poker, an actual GTO wizard, and Rob Roy, who's coming as well. So we're going to load up the Tahoe, head up to New Hampshire where the games are good, and hopefully bring back some more money than we showed up with. Let's go. I wonder how many times I would be up on a session had I sat down when I initially planned to, but didn't because my friends cannot be f***ing punctual.
Hello, camera. How's it going?
He gave it to you for seniority.
Seniority, yeah.
Earth seniority?
Yeah.
I guess so.
No, JQ?
We're going to go get him in Worcester.
Hiding hate that burns inside. Only fuels their selfish pride.
Remember when you said, hey, let us know when you're 30 minutes out? I forgot about that.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, I figured you'd be here to that.
It smells like balls in here.
Where's this place that you're talking about for lunch? Is it walking distance? All right, let's not. It's gonna come.
So when I was 17, my great uncle passed away, and we went down for his funeral to Richmond, Virginia. Like third cousin once removed or something. Technically not related. We could get legally married. And then a few months later, my other cousin had like her 30th birthday, so we're there at the party. And my Aunt Pat's husband dies, so we're actually my Aunt Pat died first, so we're at Aunt Pat's funeral. Bill Greavy guy. When I was 16, he goes, "Oh, like, you know, you're growing up, like, you're a young stud." He's like, "You probably got girls like all over you." And then he says, he's like 70 at the time. Then he goes, "How old are you?" I go, 16. He goes, "Well, you probably have too many girls, you can't handle them all. If you need to dump some off, your Uncle Bill's always available."
Okay, the car ride was an hour from Worcester, but it felt like 3 hours with JQ's family history story. But now that it's over, I walk into the Gate City Casino card room with $1,000 in chips and wait for my 1-3 seat. The 1-3 game is especially good here because it's match the stack. They honestly don't ever run a 2-5 game because the 1-3 game plays so big. And because the games are so good, they're all full right now. So all 4 of us sit down at the 1-2 table, which has a $300 cap. And the first hand, of course, is against JQ. Folds to me on the button, and I'm going to open to $15 with 6-4 suited. An absolute premium. JQ's in a $5 straddle and is the only one to come along. The flop is horrendous for my holding, but great for my range. Ace, King, 9 with 2 clubs. This honestly couldn't have missed me anymore. But I'm going to continue with a range bet of $15 after a check from our opponent. I get called. A queen makes this very spicy. JQ checks again. I check back as I would with my straights, sets, flush draws, as well as air, evidently. An offsuit deuce hits the river and JQ checks for a third time. I'm putting him on some kind of showdown value here. Pocket threes through sixes. I think anything bigger would have raised pre-flop, but to win this hand, I'm gonna have to bet. I was gonna shove, but that seemed too bluffy at the time and he might see right through me, so I just went $50. So it feels like value. It does the job anyways.
This is the only way I'm gonna win with 6 high.
Oh, he didn't. Oh. I actually had a better hand.
What a loser.
Our 1-3 seat is ready, and now we throw the rest of our chips on the table. Now we're in this game for $1,000, and we're ready to play some big hands. The first being Ace-10 offsuit in the hijack. There's a mandatory $5 straddle at this table, and there's an under the gun open to $15. I 3-bet to $55. Just under the gun comes along, and we bink top pair on a 10-8 deuce board. Checks to me, and I continue for another $55, and I'm met with a call. The queen of clubs hits the turn and another check from under the gun. I make it $100 and I'm snapped. A 9 of hearts brings in the obvious straight and a third check, and now I check back with my showdown value and he mucks and we pick up our first decent one with a pair of 10s. See what I mean about this game? It's really good here. So with the $5 mandatory straddle, we're also playing the 3 in a row game, which means if a player wins 3 consecutive hands, the entire table has to pay them an extra $50 each. So there's a $350 bounty on this table if you can win 3 hands in a row, and we just won our first. And it's almost like the poker gods want me to have it. Big slick in the low jack, and I opened to $20. I'm comfortable being a little bit more aggressive here because A, this table seems to be full of call stations, and 2, if I'm more aggressive in this spot, it could just look like I'm trying to get my second and third in a row for my bounty. The button 3-bets me to $60, and I pretty quickly 4-bet to $300 and get a fold. There's my second in a row. Come on, give me another premium. 7-6 offsuit. Well, maybe we can catch a flop. It's worth calling a $25 open in this spot when I could potentially win $350. Well, I completely missed the flop and I have to fold to a $50 continue bet. I'm not ready to lose thousands just to win hundreds. We fast forward a few hands and I already have my first win button from a walk in the big blind. Just need 2 more for the bounty and I look down at Queen Jack offsuit. That's as good a hand as any to try to steal another pot. So I open at $15 from the small blind and get called from the straddle. Ace 10-10 on the flop. I c-bet for $15 from out of position and get a fold. There's my second. 1 more for the bounty, and I'm even on the button for this one. It's not a premium, but Queen 9 offsuit can do the trick. JQ opens to $15, and I call, and so does the big blind and the straddle. We hit middle pair on this flop, and when it checks to me, I now want to isolate. I make it $50. Folds from everybody except the big blind, and a brick on the turn, and I check my showdown value. Brick on the river, and I feel like I may be good with my 9 here, but I really just want to get to showdown and see if I get this bounty. So I check again, and my 9 is good. I take down the pot, and we pick up an additional $300 bounty. It would have been more, but a player busted literally 2 hands prior, so whatever, I'll take it though. Trust me, that's only my first of many bonuses I'm gonna win tonight. Some orbits go by, and we are chugging along, picking up good pots with top pair, and then right here we pick up another great one with a set on the flop with the ducks. I'm making the max, and these deep stacked regulars are just giving it away. I start to feel like I can't lose. And then I make a horrendous mistake. A horrendous mistake. That costs me. A mistake that somebody who's been playing for 20 years should never make. A mistake that I would make fun of someone for who's been playing for a week. A whale sits down at the table and has just been donating his money. I'm on the button with the clean diaper. I love my suited connectors, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I overplay my suited connectors. Little inside fun fact about my play. 3 deuce suited, and we're on the button, and there's folds to me, and I open to $15, and just the whale calls. I flop the world. The flop is ace 4-9 with 2 hearts. I almost have too many outs. The whale and the hijack donks for $20, and we have the easiest call. The turn is the 6 of clubs, and the whale continues for $50. I call. The river is red, but it's the 10 of diamonds. The hijack goes for 3 streets here with $150, and I'm just disgusted. I whine to JQ a little, show him, and then muck. And then JQ brings something to my attention after my cards hit the table.
Street, yeah. Been good, huh? Do you know the street? You got
Oh, did I just fucking pull the straight? Wow, what an asshole I am. Maybe I should chill.
That turn wasn't the 6 of clubs. It was the 5 of clubs. I completely misread this board. I'm 33 years old and I have 20/20 vision. I don't think I couldn't see it. I just think maybe I was in my head a little bit too much. Maybe I had that whole too many outs thing ringing in my head, knowing I was gonna miss. Or maybe I was just too focused on catching that last heart. I don't know. It was a real shitty mistake to make. And to rub salt in the wound, I mucked face up. I showed everybody. I showed everybody at the table what a fucking idiot I am. It wasn't something that I was like editing in post and was like, oh shit, I folded a fucking straight here. This was something I did very publicly, and now my entire table thinks I'm an idiot. They're correct, but it's none of their business. I guess I am giving everybody permission to rip me apart in the comments. This is the only time it is acceptable. Now I'm wondering if I could use this new table image of being an idiot to my advantage. I ponder that for a few, and then I think back to something JQ said on the way here.
And I was like, Grandma, she's like underage. Like, you want me to go to prison, you know?
Moving along, our mistake is short-lived when we pick up aces on the button with the whale just to our right. There's a few limps and I make it $25 and get 3 calls. A pretty safe flop comes out and the whale now donks out again for $80. I'm the only caller, and then a random 4 hits the turn, and this guy goes all in for $377. Is he bluffing again with queen high? Or does he actually have it now? Am I up against a set, 2 pair? Probably not a set. I don't think he would have limped pre-flop with any pair, but I don't know if this guy knows what he's doing. Anyway, we can't fold to this guy. He could have any 2, or he could just know that I go around folding the essential nuts to any kind of aggression. I call and he shows top pair with a 7 kicker, and we felt this guy, and he just up and leaves. Does this redeem me? I don't think so either. We now find ourselves in a double board bomb pot with pocket 8s. We have a set on the top board and just 2 pair on the bottom board. Being way out of position with 7 people, I just check. And surprisingly, it checks around. The turn on the top board, another 8. We just hit quads and there are 7 other people still in this pot. The turn on the bottom board, another 6. We have a mediocre full house, but we have quads in the top board. So our goal now is to get people off of a chop. There's an open to $75 in early position, a call, and I now make it $300. The initial razor folds and 1 comes along. Bricks on both boards and a check to me. I'm now all in. I've got to try to get him off chops. My 8s are no good on the bottom. If he has a 10, he has a better full house. If he has overpairs, he has a better full house. He knows I don't have a 6 because the last one is on the top board. He must have just thought all this through because he's tanking for a while, and eventually he does call and flips over pocket queens, and we chop. Now, this would be making the minimum with quads if I ever saw one. However, on this random Tuesday, Gate City Casino is having a high hand every half hour. And right now, my quad 8s are the high hand in the room. If we can hold for 20 minutes, we win an additional $500 cash bonus. And guys, quad 8s held. $500 right in my pocket. So, making the minimum on the table, yes. Making the minimum in my pocket, not so much. Now back in it, we're in the straddle with ace-queen offsuit, and JQ bumps it up from early position to $20, and I'm the only one to give him action. 2 spades on the flop, and it checks through. When the 3rd spade hits the turn, and I have the ace of spades, I check again, JQ bets for 15, and I debate on a check raise here, but I feel like I can check raise him on any river and get another street from him. So I smooth call, and now I don't even need to bluff when another spade hits the river. He bets $50, and I make it $200, which I honestly would have done with most rivers. Because honestly, JQ, I thought you were full of shit here. And evidently I was right. And you insta-fold. I was hoping to get value from decent spades, but you must have had air. And then, to make it worse, you crumble my ever-growing stack of chips. I hate that. I need a neat stack. I'm a neat stack guy. Another one with JQ and Orbiter 2 later, and we have my new favorite hand, King Queen suited. Why is that my favorite hand, you ask?
My goodness.
No trouble.
Okay, Boulay. The nuts. 2 times.
Oh my god, look at the
2 boards.
I don't know if you guys remember that happening or not, but if you didn't know, I was on the Lodge live stream and won over $22,000. That vlog is linked up here. Feel free to check it out. Anyways, if I had any doubt that that was my favorite hand, I don't anymore. There was an open, I 3-bet to 55, and JQ calls. The flop? Yeah. King, king, queen. I check out of position, not really afraid of much, and hoping to give JQ a chance to catch up. He takes the lead here for $25, and I just call. Another queen hits, and now the board is double paired. I still have nothing to worry about, but the odds of him now having anything is significantly decreased. Checks through, and a 10 of hearts hits the river, and now I try for value and bet $100 and get insta-folded again. However, the high hand in the room right now is kings full of 10s, which we now beat. If we can hold for another 8 minutes, we win an additional $300 cash bonus. And guys, we won another $300 right in my pocket. We now have $800 cash and bonuses that go right in my pocket. We're practically free rolling this cash game. We're running really hot, but we're also playing really well.
Oh, did I just pull this straight? Wow, what an asshole I am. Maybe I should chill.
Well, mostly. Few hands left in the session, and it's getting pretty late. Tables are breaking down on this random Tuesday night, and I open at $15 from the hijack with King 10 offsuit and get 3-bet by JQ on the button. This kid just can't leave me alone, which makes sense because I do remember him saying,
Who's that really hot guy who just walked in?
there's a call from the big blind and we're pretty deep and we're having a good time, so I make a pretty light call. I get rewarded with top pair, but I have a mediocre kicker where JQ could have all the pocket aces, ace-king, pocket kings, king-queen. That's all in his range. Checks to JQ and he continues for $55, and I call with my top pair, and a brick hits the turn. I check to the aggressor once again, and he comes out now with $325. Now here's the mistake that I made. A, I shouldn't be in this pot to begin with. And 2, now that I am and invested a bunch of money pre-flop and actually made a hand, I now decide to chicken out? I will give it to JQ. He does switch up his bluffs and his value bets pretty interchangeably. This honestly could be either. A big bet here doesn't necessarily mean bluff. And like I said, he does have all the better kings here. I make a tight fold, and he shows the vlog that we were good. Nice bet, JQ. I'll pick a better spot next time.
Right? Cinematography.
But now to the last hand of the night, which actually ends up being the biggest pot of the night. I'm in the big blind with King Jack of diamonds, not King Queen of diamonds. Do you guys remember that hand?
My goodness.
No trouble.
Okay, Boulay.
Diamonds.
The nuts. 2 times.
Oh my god, look at the
2 boards.
Anyways, there's an open to $30 from the small blind, and I come along. I could have 3-bet here, but I think a call works fine too. Dookie comes along in the straddle, and so does the button, and we go 4 ways to a flop of Queen 10 3 with 2 diamonds. I flop the world again. Let's see if the poker gods are going to punish us though for folding it last time they gave it to us. Checks around, and we hit it right on the turn. The 9 of spades gives us the nuts with a king high flush draw to boot. Check from the small blind, and I can't let this check through again. I bet $20. Dookie folds, button folds, and the small blind check raises me to $100. This guy's been drinking and donating for a while. The scuttlebutt around the table is that he's an encore regular in the 2-5 and 5-10 game, so he's got about $6K behind, and I think he wants to give it all to me. I 4-bet here to $350, and he thinks for a while and calls. What is he calling with here? Please be a safe river. Don't pair the board or anything. Come on. Thank you, dealer. I probably get the safest river card in the deck, the 3 of hearts. He checks to me, and I make it $500. I kind of want to make this look like I'm trying to steal a pot with a missed flush draw. He tanks, and I'm begging for a call. He goes back and forth, counts out calling chips, and then puts them back and checks his card again. That's a classic I'm gonna fold move. But then he throws them back in the pot while also motioning to muck. Almost like he knew he was losing and just wanted to pay to see if I was full of shit. Well, I'm not. He mucks, says he has pocket jacks, so he did have showdown value with 2 blockers to the straight. I mean, whatever got him to call works for me. We rack up and go find our friends. They didn't do as well.
Yay, we all did really well.
But thankfully, there's no whining from anybody on the ride home. We book a profit of $26.50. That's the biggest win other than when I was on the lodge. Did you guys see that video? I'll link the vlog up in the corner here. And yes, that $26.50 does include the high hand bonuses. So for all you sticklers that want to know just what I grinded at the table, I had a profit of $18.50, which is still good. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I'm going to try to be a little bit more consistent with these long form vlogs. Thanks to Dookie, JQ, and Rob for keeping me company and hanging out with me. I will link all of their pages in the description below. Thanks for sticking around for the end, and don't forget,
Like and subscribe for more family content.